make sure that these colleagues are interviewed and placed correctly. So we quite had a good agreement for our members. We would say we didn't get everything that we wanted immediately, but there is a goodwill demonstrated by the council to have these issues sorted out in an organized manner. And that's why we have very clear time frames within which we expect what has not been sorted immediately to be handled. The return to work formula is a legal document that usually is deposited with the court. So any breach of any provisions of the return to work formula obviously means that somebody can be held accountable in law. So by appending our signatures on this document, all of us, the parties involved, are cognizant of the fact that this is a legal document and that we must meet each and every aspect of the provisions of this return to work formula. As a matter of good faith, the employer also subsequently withdraws all cases that were in court because of this particular industrial action. There were two court cases. One was E1011 of 2021, E1011 of 2021, and E706 of 2024. E706 of 2024. Those two will be withdrawn by the employer because the employer had gone to court, and each of the parties to bear their own costs, so that it is a show of good faith. There shall be no victimization. Our members are aware. No loss of earnings as a result of the industrial action, and therefore any communications which had been made to any member of staff, which of course was general, will not be subject to any further interpretation. And that means as we brought the industrial action to an end, that was on 27th of September, we have expectations. There may not have direct influence on how the universities are run. However, they have a supervisory role to play. And this supervisory role directly depends on how effective the cabinet secretary is. So it's just a question of having the right information and acting in good time. So the three cabinet secretaries we've had so far, actually since the time even the current president was a minister for, back then they were called ministers, he was minister for higher education. And we have not seen much reforms. The universities blame the ministry blames the government blames I don't know who else. So there has always been this issue of blame games, shifting blames from one corner to the other. And that's why problems in public universities skyrocket and get to a point where even the patience of the members run out, and then they resort to industrial action. So it is possible for these kind of actions to be avoided if employers, Ministry of Education and the government appreciate that there are issues in universities that need to be sorted before they get out of hand. Today, you notice that there is what we call a parliamentary committee on pending bills. They have received pending bills from public universities to the tune of almost 80 billion. Before you get to 80 billion, we must have begun with 100 million, 200, 300, a billion, 2, all the way to 80. Should they have intervened early, then we wouldn't be having this kind of pending bills. So it's just a question of them being proactive, being on the ground and understanding what is happening in public universities so that they can intervene earliest and avoid this kind of industrial action, which have had a lot of effect on our students. Yeah, and then sometimes this kind of effects can only be noticed probably 2 years down the line. And by then, of course, nobody will remember that whatever is being seen then has a direct link to the industrial action. employees, council, Ministry of Education, and national government must be seized of matters in public universities at the earliest opportunity. That's how they'll be able to sort out this kind of.
But do you think
To engage in industrial action, as we have agreed in principle, has run into storm winds. Actually, it would have been the other way around. They would have started with that committee so that they get their advice and know how best to handle this. Then attempt to start, get into trouble, and then now you form one. That's what we call firefighting. So you really, and it has not been suspended anyway. You know, we expect that you suspend it, review it before you, but you see, it is still running. And then there's a committee trying to look at how to review it. It's very interesting. There was no hurry because, like now, both the DUC is working for 3rd years and 4th years, and then the higher education funding is applicable to 1st years and 2nd years. So they would have suspended one, for example, the higher education funding model, let the DUC run as they review it.